going to start lying down on our backs. Make sure you're comfortable. If you want something under your knees, go ahead and put something there. I might just put a blanket folded or rolled under my knees. And we're going to just work a little bit on the breath. So let's draw the shoulders away from the ears, tuck the chin toward the chest. Take a few deep breaths as you let the weight of the body drop toward the floor and into the mat. And then maybe you even want to tuck the pelvis under and elongate the low back, creating space between the lower vertebra. Relax the jaw. Now let's begin to deepen the breath. So as you breathe in, let the breath come all the way to the bottom of the ribs and let the belly rise as you inhale. Exhale, let it fall slowly. Inhale. Exhale. We'll do this for just another minute or so, filling up the front and the sides of the lungs as you inhale. Just a few more deep breaths. And then from here, we're going to reach for either a block or a couple of books. So we want the block at the second height. So not all the way down, but on the second height. And we're going to place the edge of the block right where the neck and the head meet. So just under the occipital bone, that bone that sticks out in the back. And your chin is dropping in toward your chest. So if your chin is up, it's not really placed in a way that would help you stretch the back of the neck. So move it around a little bit till the chin is dropping in. And we're going to rest here for a couple of minutes, breathing deeply into the upper back. So we're allowing that length from the neck and head attachment all the way down to in between the shoulder blades to lengthen. Keep the jaw relaxed. You should be feeling a little release where the neck and head meet. Just focus on that area softening and releasing. And then we'll take one more deep breath here. And then we'll turn the head slightly to the right so the chin comes toward the middle of the right collarbone, kind of gazing over to the right hand. And there's this feeling of a pull. First of all, you feel pressure the right side of the neck and head connection, but you also feel eventually a lengthening on the left side toward the left shoulder blade. Chin is still dropping in. If that's not happening, adjust the block further back so that the chin drops in. And then continue breathing between the shoulder blades. Let's take a few more long breaths here. Really let that chin drop into the chest. Slowly bring the chin back to center. Take a couple of breaths here. Really breathing up in between the shoulder blades. And then we're going to turn the head toward the left. So now the chin is coming toward the left collarbone. You may need to adjust the block so that it's not falling away or it's not keeping the chin from dropping in. And now you're going to feel more pressure on the left side of the head-neck connection, but you'll feel a greater stretch on the right side of the neck. More into the right shoulder blade area. Really fill the back of the lungs with the breath. Let's take a few more deep breaths. Bring the head back to center. Take a deep breath. So we're just going to rock the head over to the right, and then to the left, and right, left, and right, and left. Coming back to center, we're going to take the block out completely, bring the head to the floor, elongating the back of the neck. You might even want to pull the head away from the shoulders, and then lay the head down and feel the length there. Let's take a few breaths. Try to keep the length here. We're going to come into double diamond, so the arms are going to come up over the head. And maybe you have shoulder issues, maybe you have just tight shoulders. You're going to bring maybe a block under that arm just to support it. And then we're going to bring the legs into a double diamond too. So soles of the feet together, knees dropping out. You could put your hands also under your head if you really want to open more up across the armpit shoulder area. So that's up to you. We're going to stay here for about 5 minutes, breathing deeply, letting the weight of the legs drop and the weight of the arms rest down, releasing through the hips and the shoulders. Keep the breath full and the body relaxing. Taking deep breaths and really fill the breath up toward the armpits. Here the side body is extended, so take advantage of that space and breathe into it. Keep letting the legs drop. See if you can elongate the breath. Each breath you take being a little longer than the last one. Notice how the hips and the sacrum are feeling right now. We'll take 3 more deep breaths. And then we're going to slide the arms down by our sides. And then little by little, wiggle the feet farther away from each other, like you're walking the knees towards your armpits. And then use your hands to bring the knees up and then together and give them a hug. Feel free to rock. We should come into a happy baby here. So let's grab the feet if you can. If you can't, pull your pants or pull your ankles. And then let the knees drop out to the sides. Taking long, deep breaths. Give it another minute or so, breathing deeply. Let's take 2 more deep breaths. And then lower the feet to the floor. If you have something there, you might want to move it. We're going to come into a supported bridge, which we often do because it's such a great pose. I'm using a block for mine, but you can use a folded blanket or a bolster. So lifting the pelvis, sliding the block under the pelvis, parting the feet to the width of the mat, dropping the knees in. And we'll be here for about 5 minutes in total. Just letting the low back release. You can change the height of your block in time. So at some point you might want to come up here, but don't rush it. It could happen today and maybe it won't happen today. And then direct the breath into the low back if possible. So remember, the knees are dropping in and the feet are out. This helps you relax through the hips. It might be so that you can elevate the block if the low back is feeling hardly anything at all anymore. And just make sure the block is right under the sacrum. Keep breathing deeply into the back. Long, deep breaths, filling up the back. Feeling the release in the front of the hips as well as in the sacral area. And of course, especially in the low back. take 5 more deep breaths. Okay, let's put the block down if it's up. And then you can bring the knees in toward the chest one at a time. Give them a hug while still on your prop, whatever you've got under you. Let's take a couple more breaths here with the knees in toward the chest. And then if you can, just lift the hips and push the block forward. And we're going to roll over to the right side, taking a few breaths. And then take your time pushing yourself up. Okay, so we're going to do a deer pose, which is sort of like a pigeon, but not quite. So I will demonstrate. I'm going to use a bolster to lean on, but you can use a rolled blanket, a pillow, a block. We're going to start with the left foot forward. And the left foot, the left shin will be parallel to the top of your mat. And the right thigh will be parallel to the shin and the top of your mat. So with the knee is not out here or up here. It's out to the side. You want to make sure that you have cushioning under it because there's a lot of pressure and you don't want it to be very uncomfortable while you're here. So we're going to do this in 3 different stages. Our first stage will be leaning over the left knee. Then we'll come up a little and then we'll shift toward the middle of the shin. And then we'll shift toward the foot. Now each time we shift, you may not be coming in quite as far. So this is just an experience for you to have and be also true to. So not to push anything because the hip might be a solid joint, but it's also complicated and we don't want to cause any trouble. So bringing that thing that you're going to lean on in front of you, we're going to start to lean toward the left knee. And so you can lie down if it works for you, like you can come all the way down, or you can be partly up. In time, if your body lets go, you can come in a little bit deeper. Try not to shift out though. Just stay and breathe and relax and just allow yourself to surrender to the posture for a little while. Make sure you're taking deep breaths. Keep breathing deeply. Perhaps your body will let you in a little bit more so you can kind of either shift your prop forward or lean on it differently. Take a couple more breaths in this position. Deep breaths. And you just come up a little bit. You don't have to come all the way up. And then we're just going to shift our direction that we lean towards being over the middle of the shin. So you may not come very far forward at the beginning here, and that's okay. The whole idea is that we're creating different angles to open up at. Because we are cylindrical, we need to approach all the different parts differently. We've got all these pieces that we want to get to, so we need to be a little experimental here. So try to relax into this and keep taking deep breaths. Taking long deep breaths. Almost there, just about 30 more seconds on this spot. Okay, let's take one more deep breath. And you're just gonna have to come up a little bit before we shift, not all the way, just a little. And here's the fun part. So those of you with a tight right hip here, this might be even more of a challenge. And in that case, you're just gonna support yourself so that you still can lean over the foot. Now, that means you may not come down, and that's fine. But those of you who've got a little bit of give in the right hip can start to lean in toward the foot. So we've got a completely different sensation here, and the foot might lose circulation. If that's the case, come up a little bit. You don't need to put that much pressure on yourself to get into the pose. And then, so we'll just take it from here, hoping to be here for about 2 minutes, breathing deeply. Taking deep breaths. You're probably feeling it by now. If the knee, if the left knee is really unhappy, you're going to flex that left foot. Or come up a little bit more too. Long deep breaths. You might be feeling this in a few different places, but one of the places we're really getting into is the sacral iliac joint, where a lot of us have some pinching going on, some compression, some tightness, perhaps rubbing of tissues and bones, or maybe even causing other issues like low back pain. So this is a really good one for releasing that area. We're going to take 5 more breaths here. Okay, probably on your last full breath. And you're going to use your hands to push yourself back up. You might want to swing back toward the knee first and then slowly push yourself up. I'm just going to pause here. And then switch sides. However you're able to, so take your time. Make sure that left knee is now cushioned. And whatever you were leaning on is still in front of you. The right shin is parallel to the top of the mat, and the left thigh is also. So we're going to begin. Get all comfy and in position. Remember, this knee is coming straight out. It's not back there and it's not up here. And we're going to lean over the right knee toward the edge of the setup. And we're going to hang out here for about 2.5 minutes, breathing deeply. Make sure you're taking deep breaths. You might be getting some pins and needles. So just wiggle the feet a little bit if you are, and maybe come out of it a teeny bit. just to loosen up that strong pull that's going on in that area. We'll take about 3 more breaths here. Okay, so we're going to come up a little bit and then we're going to shift over the middle of the shin. So it's just, a couple of inches to the left. And again, honor where you're at. Try not to press through it. Just be in that position where you can be on the edge of comfort and discomfort, and breathe deeply. Filling the back of the lungs with the breath. And again, if your right knee is uncomfortable, you can flex the right foot. We haven't come into the fullest and the deepest of the position yet, but if the knee is unstable or it's just complaining a little bit, you can secure it with that flexing of the foot. Let's take 3 more breaths in this spot. All right, coming up just a little bit. And then shifting over the foot now. So some of you are going to be way up here. Some of you are going to have to use your right hand to support you just to stay here because of the left hip. But if there's some give and you can move into it, then come forward. And again, this hip could be very different from the other. So just honor where you're at and be okay with it. So we all have one side a little bit different than the other. There's lots of reasons for that. It could be our activities, it could be our energy that moves through the body based on, parts of us, like our masculine and feminine parts that are operating in certain ways. We all have stuff that we're dealing with. So things settle in various places, and hips are one of the places. Emotional tension, not just in the heart, but in the hips. It gathers and holds on to that type of tension. So breathe through it. Not that much longer. Keep breathing. Take about 3 more deep breaths. And then swing a little back to center and slowly push yourself up. Without moving the legs too much, just come into a comfortable seated position, whatever it is that works for you. We're just going to let the legs kind of chill for a minute. Let's get our blankets ready, and we're going to open them up to a pretty, long position, maybe something like that. Could even be longer. I'm not going to wrap it too much today, but I definitely want to cushion my ankles. We're coming into bound angle, which is still a hip opener and very much like what we were doing, but again, another angle. So we're going to wrap that blanket around the ankle and the lower part of the lower leg. So wrap the shins, that's right. Okay, so whatever you got to lean on, you might want to bring it in front of you. You can place it on the floor. You can even have it up here and just let your forehead lean down on it. Just depends on where you're at in this pose. And remember, every day is different. So we're not going to have the same expectations. We're not going to have any expectations. We're just going to see where we are now. We're going to lean forward, beginning here. If the body lets you in, then you can adjust. But we're not pulling or pushing. So it's just like gradual letting go, coming in a little further. And then eventually you're going to let your head hang and round the back. Make sure you're taking deep breaths into the back. way, you can support under the knees with blocks or books or blankets if you feel that there's a need for support. Just everybody's got different sensitivities, and so you don't have to be a hero and not have support if you really feel like you could relax better if you did. See if you can let go through the hips just a little more. Again, if your knees are bothering you here, you can always flex the feet. So you would pull the feet away from each other, keeping the heels together. And this again can help assist with the knees. And so that's just an option if you need it. We're going to lean a little bit over toward the right shin. So you may still want something to lean on. You can just put your hands on the floor and hold yourself here as well. So our direction is over the middle of the right shin. We aren't going to be here for as long, but for a minute and a half, and breathing deeply. Take 3 more full breaths. And then use your abdominal muscles when you're transitioning. You're going to just come back to center for a few breaths. And And then we'll make our way over to lean over the middle of the left shin. So again, just honor where the body is in this position and begin to breathe deeply, relaxing into it. Let's take another 3 deep breaths. When you're ready, we're going to swing back to center, pause for a breath or two. And take your time pushing yourself up. You'll be happy to know we're done with the hips for now. We're going to need our blanket. And we're going to change the fold, so it's going to be like this. And once you've folded it up like this, you're going to roll it tightly. And hopefully your roll isn't going to be thicker than 3 inches. If it is, you might want to not roll it up as much. So have part of the blanket unrolled if that's what's happening. Okay, so we're going to do 3 spots. The first spot is just near the bottom rib. Okay, so just like bottom 2 ribs that we're going to lay over the roll. The roll will be resting there. Then we're going to move down a little bit, and then the roll is going to rest at the bottom of the shoulder blades. There's only about 1.5 to 2 inches space difference that we're going to move. And then we'll do it one more time, and then the roll will be just under the armpit area. So we're going to do 3 different positions for the back bend. We're just shimmying down. We're not getting up and changing. So make sure you get comfortable. If you need something warm or socks or a blanket, and put that on. Now, as we lay back, we want to make sure that this roll is coming to the bottom ribs. And then if you need something under your head, take something like a pillow or a blanket or a block So this is going to feel like quite a bit of movement in the rib cage. It's going to feel like the rib cage is being pushed forward, and it is, and we're trying to loosen up the tension through this area. So arms out to the sides, palms up, relax the jaw, and we're going to take deep breaths. All the way down to the bottom of the lungs. Breathe all the way down to where the roll is pressing into your back. Deep, full breaths. And from here, we're going to shimmy down about 1.5 inches or 2. Use your arms and your legs just a little bit. So now the roll is just under the shoulder blades. It isn't very far from where it was, but it definitely feels different. So come back to relaxing the shoulders down, releasing the jaw, and breathing deeply. Breathe so deeply that you can feel the breath pushing into where the roll is resting. Let's take another 3 deep breaths here. And then we're going to shift one more time. So you have a choice to bring the roll up a bit or scoot down a bit. So basically, a little both might even work well. And so now the roll is as close to being near the upper back and under the armpits as possible. The shoulders won't really be dropping back so much here, but they are kind of still moving in that direction. Maybe your head needs some support here too. You can put something underneath it like a block or another blanket. And then relax the jaw, deepen the breath, and relax. Let's take about 3 more deep breaths. And then draw the navel to the spine as you exhale. Bend the knees, place the feet on the floor. Roll to a side. Use your arm to cradle the head as you come down. And then when you're ready, you're going to roll forward a little more. Press down into the left hand. Let the head hang. Round the back and push yourself up. And then we're going to come to a comfortable seated position. And we'll close with 3 ohms. Place the hands in any mudra you're comfortable with. Sit up tall, take a deep breath. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste.